understand is the only thing that really goes deep in your golf swing, or anything that really turns, is just your chest. This is the circle in your golf swing, is the idea that your chest is turning, right? The arm shouldn't be going back or shouldn't be doing anything kind of strange and funky. Hey, welcome back to Dan for Golf. Today we're going to talk about the backswing, but more specifically what your arm should be doing in your backswing to help you stay on plane, to help you fix a lot of issues that I tend to come across when I give lessons, just because we don't totally understand how the arms move and how they move with how our shoulders move. So if you're brand new to our channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell button right next to it, then you can see all our future videos that we have posting, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our content, and if you have any questions you can leave them down below. When we talk about how our arms move in the backswing, a lot of the times we kind of do it incorrectly. All right, we know that the shoulders and the arms and everything swings in a circle. All right, but a lot of the times we get confused on what's actually swinging in the circle. All right, so the first example I'm going to give is when we try to force creating that circle just with our arms. So when you start to take the club back, it's kind of the arms are pushing across the body, and you can see the hands, yeah, they're swinging in a circle, but they're swinging really around me. All right, and so that's going to create a really weird circle. And a lot of the times, folks who tend to push the arms or the hands back behind them, they tend to then come down steep, because we're trying to basically find like a zero plane, and that's a very hard way to do that. All right, I'm going to post a video of one of my juniors that I work with, and this was really his thing. He would create that circle by pushing his arms around him, and then at the top his hands would be very flat and his club would be very laid off, and then he'd have to come down and throw the club out in front of him, which just led to really low slices, bad contact. All right, so you can check out that video. It's going to be right over there, kind of the moves that he did. And this is basically the lesson that I gave him to help him understand this is how your arms should move to help you strike the ball a lot better. It took him, I think, about a month to get it. All right, but you'll see the outcome or the new result in a little bit. So the lesson for today is, how do our arms move and how do they move with our chest as it turns? Right. The first thing you need to understand is the only thing that really goes deep in your golf swing, or anything that really turns, is just your chest. This is the circle in your golf swing, is the idea that your chest is turning. Right. The arm shouldn't be going back or shouldn't be doing anything kind of strange and funky. All right. The turn or the circle that we create in our golf swing is just created by how your shoulders are turning. Right. If you turn your shoulders weird, of course, it's going to throw things off, so make sure you're staying in your posture. Make sure you're turning your shoulders at the right angle. All right, and if you just purely turn your shoulders and your hips, all right, when we combine it with the arm motions, it's going to be a whole lot simpler. So here comes the arm motions. All right, so the arm motions are basically just doing that in the golf swing. If you can do that in the golf swing, as you turn your shoulders, it's going to be great. So what it is we call this arm elevation. Right arm flexion, or basically it's just like a bicep curl kind of, all right, to 90 degrees. So elevation, right arm flexion, and then you just let your wrist set, all right, set to that angle. Okay, you add those together. Looks like this, right? It's really, really steep, because I haven't turned my shoulders at all. Now when I add that together with shoulder turns, so elevation, flexion, wrist set, you see where the arms now go. So once you start to time it up with how the arms set correctly, all right, that makes the golf swing a whole lot simpler, rather than pushing our arms deep, then turning our shoulders, and then really being in a bad spot. So in my past video, we talked about how deep or how shallow your hands should be, how high they should be. You might want to check that out, because it might be a little bit different for you based on where the hand should be on top, according to your body style. Okay, but if you start to turn, arms start to elevate, wrists start to set, right arm starts to flex. When you get it to the top, you can see where the arms are, and then it's so much easier to drop it down. So it just goes up and drops down. And right? So you can start to shallow the club. It's a whole lot easier for your chest to turn too versus when it's going this way. It just feels really stuck and it's just kind of an awful feeling, right? And if you get your arms a little bit higher, you have to kind of match the steepness and the shallowness of a golf swing to be a good ball striker, all right? So this is a very simple way for you to improve your backswing, as long as you know how your shoulder should turn, right? Everybody can pretty much turn their shoulders. It's not a huge deal, all right? Just make sure you stay in your posture, stay in your tilt. And then you just got to elevation, right arm flexion, set those wrists, turn to the top, and then you just add it all together. You can get all those things together, you're going to be good. If you get to the top and you feel like that lead arm is really close to you, then you probably didn't have any elevation, right? So a little elevation, right arm flexion, set the wrists, and then you just add all those pieces together. If you're going to start training it this way, start off slow, because if you go fast, it'll snap back to the same old way that you've been doing in the past. Another drill that you can do is, I'll put a picture of this. You just take a long alignment rod and you kind of put it about a foot off your butt. And if you're somebody who swings steep, you're going to run into it. So this will encourage you to swing up that alignment rod, and then when you come down, you'll still have plenty of room to be shallow. Right? So just work on getting it to the top. Elevation, right arm flexion, wrist set, and you'll get to the top in a really good spot, and you'll come back down. So that's a very simple way for you to improve your backswing, actually improve your takeaway, all right, and just make your swing a whole lot simpler. Just think of it as a rotation and the arms going the same way. If you can do that, I guarantee you're going to start hitting the ball better.